Hello everyone, welcome back to Sunless Skies. So we are about to leave the Reach and head for new areas. I expect this is going to be a heavy story-based episode, but that I could be wrong. Let's take a quick look around. So Mustrum, hours for nature reserve, we could do that, but I don't want to. Our ship is fully repaired, fully crewed. We have in our hold 6/6, and we can get more in Prosper. And a jumble of souls for Prosper. We've got a decent amount of money, and we have, so many other quests to do. A lot of them are in Carolyn. We need to go back to there at some point. Helping the circus. I could have sworn I don't have anything left to do for the circus. Huh. We need to come back to here in a year. Lots of people need us to go to other places, to London. Anyway, let's head to Palmyra and Plenty, and then to Port Prosper. No, let's just go straight to Prosper. Let's not get distracted. We are going to the New World. Should I stop at Magdalen's to get rid of that terror? We have money. I'm sure we can drink away our terror at some point. There's going to be a parade, of course. In Prosper, there'll be a parade or something. Some sort of East End, West End thing that we can partake of. I do wonder if I should have gotten maybe a better engine. And we'd be going traveling a little faster. Maybe cut down some of the downtime, make the combat a little easier. But I'm thinking, like, we kind of have, except for a better engine, the best gear we can get in the Reach. Beyond, that crazy expensive train. And I'm hoping that we'll be able to get, a different assortment of possible things in other places. Are we still going the right way? But yeah, look, this didn't really last that long. Oh, we'll go by the rat. Yeah, we'll go by the rat. That will help our terror quite a bit. There is a little hitch occasionally, like you just saw it there, where the game stutters. It shouldn't in a computer as powerful as mine, with the the low demands of this 2D game. I suppose there are physics in it. Maybe that's part of it. But I wonder if it's like, I don't know, a memory error or something. Although I just started playing, so I wouldn't have thought it would be, I don't know. No idea. Okay, so that got us down to 2%. Hard to complain about that. I do love these backgrounds. I mean, while I'm traveling around, I'm always watching the background. It's so pretty. It's always this greenery, the trees, the random trunks going across. I mean, think how huge those are. 88% chance? Try it. And we have found a marked box. I don't remember seeing anything like this before. Oh, a pane of stained glass. That's our first pane of stained glass we've ever gotten, I think. Maybe we're just gonna run away from that. We've seen one of those before, but yeah, I think we're just gonna go. That other ship can deal with it. The other ship can deal with it. Let's just get to Prosper. Okay, I think it got stuck on a rock. Although they do seem to be much faster than me. Let's just look right here and see if we can maybe get another revealed thing. Like, is this looks like it's a little valley or a bay or something. Might get another name. No, I'm wrong. This continues. Never mind. Okay, we got one. That's all I wanted. Just a little bit of experience. At some point, though, we should just hug the walls and go all the way around the entire place. Just to get all the little names and things. Okay, we're not going to offer transport. First thing first, sell the souls. And you are offering stained glass. A lot of stained glass. I'll take that. We'll just carry it with us to London. Our terror is at 7%. Hopefully we can... Well, let's give this guy... some nameplates for a stamp. How many nameplates do I have? I have 3. So now I don't have any. Never mind. I was going to see if we can get more. But that's okay. So Windward Company is at... No, that's our gratitude. So this only affects reputation. It doesn't say which... it doesn't give us, like, power in the reach. Port report. Always. A messenger greets you at the station. This is new. The messenger explains that he is, as you already guessed, a butler. His master has heard much about your exploits and is quite desperate to meet you. He hands you a card with an address. You recognize it as a neighborhood of particular wealth and prominence. The Bleak Industrialist Estate. The estate takes up half a street. The mansion itself is a grandiose structure with Venetian windows, a cupola, columns in the Palladian style. But the garden is tangled with weeds. Muddy water pools glumly at the bottom of disused fountains. The industrialist receives you in one of his drawing rooms, sitting with a rum glass beside a fire. He has a sour cast to his mouth and eyes that blaze with indiscriminate loathing. Why have you sent me? For me. There is a distant kingdom where the dead... Okay, we keep getting sent to the Blue Kingdom. Like, at first, in the beginning of the game, everyone wanted to go to London, but now we're getting things telling us to go Blue Kingdom. I'm assuming London's supposed to be first, but that's curious. There is a distant kingdom where the dead can be found. The industrialist's voice is hoarse with disuse. I need an enterprising sort, such as yourself, to visit for me and retrieve someone. It should be a simple enough affair. In return, I shall pay you a small fortune. Who does he want brought back from the dead? Some years ago, I lost someone dear to me. A world without her in it is worthless, miserable. I need her back. Okay. Why only a small fortune? Share the story of my own loss. Oh. Yeah, I did. I had a lost love as one of my level ups. Persuade him to let go. Agree to help. I'm gonna try to take advantage of this. As you tell your story, the industrialist's hateful glare melts. He weeps silently at first, but by the end he is racked with convulsive sobbing. Finally, someone who understands, mutters the industrialist when he has recovered, dabbing his eyes. Thank you. London has an embassy in the Blue Kingdom, a place called Sky Barnet. I cultivated a contact among the diplomats who I hoped would help me, but he's proved useless. Maybe you'll get more value from him than I could. No, we couldn't ask for more money, but we did get a moment of inspiration, which is a that's a rare one, right? I don't think I even have one anymore. Okay. I could have asked for more money. But the story probably was the item was probably worth it more. I still want to go on or take tea, sure. Not a parade. We'll take tea. The Admiral Nelson is Port Prosper's most exclusive tea house. West Enders congregate here to sit among little tables of ornamental shepherds and bulldogs and drink tea from little saucers with Her Renewed Majesty's face on them. The Admiral Nelson is so exclusive it opens only occasionally and never does anything so crass as advertise. People know by word of mouth, initially at least. Afterwards, most Prosperans join the queue. The ladies who brunch when we are embraced by the West Ender. Eavesdrop, engage in gossip, or... Okay, so it's another one of those things where probably one of these will send me more towards East Ender and one will send me more towards West Ender. Let's just take the West Ender and see what happens. Improving literature for the new generation is passed around the table, like cards at a particular vicious game of bridge. Clemens has underlined the passage she thinks Florence most needs to hear, whilst Jeremy has brought something of his own devising. Likening the other members of the circle to the 7 deadly sins, the atmosphere is tense and lightened only by jam and scones. You leave burdened by both books and gloomy thoughts on your own moral character. 6 literature. That's like not nothing. Yeah, good deal. Okay, I think, can we buy some more fuel and supplies? Yeah. More supplies than fuel. I kind of didn't expect to have so much stained glass and literature here. But I'll take it. We didn't get our parade either, so we weren't able to go and to reduce our tear. Too bad. Here, before we go, let's just look around this area, see if there's any other labels. I might be putting this off a little bit more than I should. But going new places is scary. What if it's bad there? Alright. That's a great start. Smash into the thing. Present yourself to customs. A pinch-faced inspector boards the ship with their retinue. Come on, hurry up. If you've nothing to hide, you've nothing to fear. Their mouth cracks into something almost, but not entirely, like a smile. Nothing from me, at least. I don't have any contraband. Not gain notoriety. So there's a whole contraband mechanic that we haven't had to deal with yet. But, nothing for us. The pinch-faced inspector almost looks disappointed at having to give you a clean bill of passage. Such a waste of time, they mutter, stamping the customs form. Go on, no reason to take up space here. They were just hoping for a bribe. Travel to Albion, first class. You will need a Ministry stamp permit. We have tons of those. And a permit, a transit permit, which we have. Or we could spend hours. Second class. But we got plenty of permits. At the sight of your papers, the superintendent jumps to activate the relay. Its hour looms rumble, spinning the pocket of new time in which your locomotive will make its journey. Wrapped in your engine's new coat of hours, it will be hard to say how long the journey takes, but the hours used by imperial officials are languid and seasoned. The passage should be at least tolerable. The machinery grinds and stirs. The steam vents. The sigils of the edifice burn with sullen fire. And we are briefly without tear. Okay, it's not the date that it was. Let's see how long it takes. So 21st of November. The burrower is displeased with me. Why? What did I do wrong? Is it because I didn't spend my own hours? Was I supposed to do... I took on a debt with the burrower. I don't know. I wonder why is the burrower displeased with me? No, it's still the 21st. For now, at least. Well, before we go anywhere, let's just see what this side looks like. The Albion Transit Relay to the Reach. So, same sort of thing. Pays sovereigns for second-class travel. 200. Okay. Well, I'm not sure. Is this bigger than the Reach? I'm not sure if the zoom level's maintained, but if they do, then that is about as big as the Reach's map. Albion is smaller? No, I don't think zoom levels maintain. They look about the same size to me. Whereas the Blue Kingdom looks noticeably smaller. Okay. Let's start looking for a port. Look at all this stuff. There's like fire everywhere. Okay, there's a port. So I think first thing we want to do is find London. You know, I mean, well, you know, not if we can, and presumably it's in the middle. So we'll go up there and then head left, head west. It's all this clockwork stuff all over the place. Interesting. It's very industrial. There's the port. I'm a little intimidated. You know, it's like an entirely new place. The bit between. The officials of Brabazon never bothered to formally name this waypoint. Captains dock here to pick up goods or deliver workers. It's not a place to linger because of proximity to the accelerated time of the work world. And we have a new person, a clay conductor, a hulking clayman in a heavy coat. He stands on the platform. The claymen were an underclass in old London. Very few of them came to the skies. This one holds an urn to his chest. You're a captain. You can perform funeral rites, he said, nodding to the urn in his arms. Then I want to travel. He pauses for a long moment, and then as if feeling something more might be expected. I could help you out on your engine. Say a few words about death in the sky. Yeah. 3 sky stories, that's cheap. So he's a first officer, hearts and iron. You ask the conductor where he would like to hold the ceremony. He looks about confused as though we hadn't expected the question. At last he comes to a conclusion. Here will do, he says, indicating the crowded thoroughfare. You and a few more of the respectable members of your crew gather for a brief funeral. Everyone has at least something in black. You offer the expected phrasings before pausing for the eulogy. The clay conductor shakes his head. You do it. Say a few words. He doesn't seem to want to join in himself. You render up a bounty of platitudes, benign wishes to the beyond, and maudlin remembrances of departed friends. The conductor frowns stonily, realizing he needs to give you at least something to work with. He could sing, he manages. You work a line about a man of clay with the voice of an angel into the eulogy. The conductor seems satisfied. Where's your engine? I'm ready to assume my duties. A man of few words. Well, before we go anywhere, let's just talk to him real quick. It's weird because he's black and white compared to the rest. Hearts and iron. It's not bad. Everyone else is a bit veil, right? No, you're hearts and mirrors. Why am I not using you? I think that's by mistake. Anyway, talk to you. The clay conductor has taken a berth in the back of your locomotive. He's made no attempt to personalize his cabin. All of his things, including the urn with his friend's dust, are stuffed into a suitcase that sits forlornly on the floor. He performs his duties with a plodding diligence. He keeps up the maintenance of the engine, ensures things run as you would wish them to, and ostensibly looks over the crew. He does not socialize, and when not working, keeps to his bunk. So we need to give him some nectar. We don't have any right here. Or probably don't. Let's see what the shops are. So we have some cheap hours. And you are selling crockery. We'll buy a fuel because it's about to... Well, let's wait until we finish talking to people. The bit between. Brabazon Workworld, the first workworld to be established in Albion. Working here, debtors can escape prison. They remain till their debts are repaid, and a ticket away has been funded. The primary industry is that of hours processing, which has the side effect of accelerating time on the workworld surface. The dock is between Brabazon Workworld and Little Nice, where the more privileged overseers reside. The dock is, for Captain's sake, nearer Little Nice than the Workworld. Unexpected aging would deter even the greediest captain from arriving. Unexpected aging. I don't really get the whole hour processing thing. Like, does it just make you old? Or do you, like... Is it that, like, in a day of our time, you live multiple days? So, like, you get all your time, it's just accelerated relative to the rest of the world. I'm not sure I get it. Anyway, so let's travel to Little Nice. Little Nice? Little Nice? Thick double doors separate the bit between from Little Nice. The fresh air of this pretty village is in sharp contrast to that near the dock. Little Nice is entirely charming. It is populated with carefully unique houses, painted in a curated array of colors. Overseers in striped blazers tend the topiary and maintain the paintwork. Behind a water feature bustling with cherubs is a cottage with an out-of-place little tower. That's the home of the governor of Brabazon. Lower tear a little. We don't need to lower tear. Get that port report. The overseers here work hard to ensure Little Nice remains perfect. From the freshly painted fence curlicues to the newly mown grass of the lawn. It's hard to get a sense of what's going on in Brabazon from your current curated surroundings. The overseers themselves are no use. They must have been briefed. Each gives you clearly sanitized information. You only have to speak to 4 before you hear repetition. You'll have to go down to the work world itself to learn anything true about Brabazon. You cannot get a report from here. Interesting. Okay, let's talk to the governor. Oh, he gave me some tea, too. That's cool. But I lost gossip. The governor has his back to you and doesn't see you enter. He's miming conducting to some jolly little tune on the gramophone. Is that something by Gilbert and Sullivan? Best leave him to it. I guess we could do it again and get more tea. That would not be a bad thing, except for we're full. Maybe we can discard like a fuel and then buy another one or something. Do it again. I want 2 tea. Okay. Oh, he did actually say something this time. He looks past the tasteless fountain to where an overseer is sweeping up leaves. This man here came here with his parents and worked his way up, paid off their debts entirely. In a few months he should be able to afford to leave. I've arranged for him to visit Lustrum as soon as he can afford the fare. Well, that's not very nice. I wouldn't want to go there. We could join a tour. Attempt to converse with an overseer. Sure. Overseers scurry back and forth along the glass tunnel, clamping at the Little Nice end. As they enter Little Nice, they remove grimy capes to reveal cheery red and white striped blazers. These are hung up to be collected on their re-entrance to the bit between. None are willing to stop and talk. You can try again in 15 days. So there's lots of ways we could join a tour by spending a whole bunch of stuff. Huh. Starshine. Look at this. It's got a little eye outside of the icon. I wonder if that means it's maybe that means it's not allowed? Like, that's contraband? I don't know. We could spend hours. We could spend a savage secret. We could spend a permit. And this is a very low chance of success. Huh. Help being cautious driver hunt for the variant. The more places you search, the easier it'll get. Failing here will not harm your quest. Well, let's go ahead and do it then. 0% chance. The incautious driver spends hours sniffing at the air in search of familiar spores to no avail. We should try somewhere else. Should we join a tour? The overseer checks over your permit and sets aside some Brabazon hours to be woven for you. She hands the group over to the tour leader, who shepherds you all into a side room. The tour leader hands out thick cloaks to keep off the smut. The group covers itself. The hood lends one woman with her hair coiled up high on her head, an awkward shape, an unexpected height. Satisfied, the tour leader begins a briefing. Receive a clock. As you know, time on the work worlds moves more velocitously than it does outside. In order to exempt you from the effects, we've had the looms spin a fold of external hours to cover the tour. Please carry these carriage clocks. They will show you how much time your protection will last. Please don't stray. It is crucial that you stay with the tour. If your time runs out, every minute it takes for us to realize could be hours for you. There is a flurry of anxious whispers. So it does seem like you don't experience those hours, you just age. That sucks. And that's what we do with our prisoners, we age them to death? That seems mean. Your group is accompanied by 2 overseers. The overseer bringing up the rear is a woman in her early 30s. She checks her carriage clock compulsively. Our first stop on the tour is the Brabazon rug weaving workshop. An attractive young worker leaps up to greet you. This workshop was built thanks to the generosity of Lady Someone. Please admire our beautiful handcrafted rugs and weavings exported for sale in London. Workers here gain skills that can support them for the rest of their days. The group of workers nods and smiles at you. One stands to better display their work. Another thanks you for your visit. The youth is the last to see you out. Admire the rugs or smile at the workers? Smile. They smile back, but their smiles are stiff and rehearsed as the line the youth delivered. The tour moves on. But I still have plenty of time. Moving on from the rug workshop, the tour is directed towards a glass factory. The air is yellow with smog. Visit the glass workings. The building you enter is heated by vast furnaces and ovens. Workers are blowing molten glass. The smog prevents much of the sun's heat from reaching Brabazon. Without factories such as this, Brabazon would freeze. The workers keep the factories alive, and the factories heat the work world, and it becomes a pleasant place to live. Here, work enriches life. Several of the group coo in admiration. One man boasts about his Brabazon glass collection. A young lady in gaudy finery turns to you. My parents paid for the main furnace to ensure the poor would never go without. What did you fund? We're not gonna lie. I'm not one of the donors. The young lady blushes. So dangerous, so romantic. That sounds much more fun. Is it difficult? Perhaps my parents will buy me a locomotive. She seems bored for much of the rest of the tour. It seems the thrills of your profession outweigh the charm of inherited virtue. The tour moves on through the upper layer of Brabazon, towards a refinery that belches heat like a dying dragon. Peer through the window at the hour refiners. Please line up here. That's it. The overseer indicates alongside a long, low window. It has been recently cleaned to a shine. Inside, hard-working souls refine raw hours, imported from the Reach. After this process, they may be spun in hour looms and put to use. He taps his carriage clock as an example. The refinery is a clamoring, roaring space of long benches, sweating workers, and rolling smoke. The overseer explains. The geodes containing the hours are cracked open. The fibrous strands of salt-like time are separated with small chisels and saws. Men and women do the former work, the children the latter. The filaments are then passed through a series of furnaces to remove impurities, which are in turn brushed away in an indigo slush. The slush is raked to ensure not even a stray minute is lost. Once the seconds and minutes and hours are extracted, they are seasoned, taken from a very high temperature to a very low one, and back. After this, the tangled clumps, the color of the sky just before dawn or dusk, are carded and wound into spools in long filaments. The overseer raps sharply on the window. As one, the nearby workers look up, smile, and wave. Hurry off up after the rest of the tour, or linger and watch. I mean, obviously, we know it's rehearsed. We know that they're probably suffering and life sucks for them and all that. I don't know. Let's just hurry off and don't not use up our time. The lead overseer is all concern and smiles when you rejoin the group. Given his care now, it's odd he didn't check you were still with them when they moved on. Perhaps what matters is only what can be reported back. You have used half your time. Worth keeping in mind? Leaving the refinery behind, you turn through the streets toward the ceaseless ring of hammers. A short walk, and then you enter a dusty yard. The tour leader adopts a noble frown. Unfortunately, not all work on Brabazon can be creatively fulfilling. We also produce raw components, like gravel and aggregates. I mean, there's nothing wrong with making gravel. People that create cement, that's the cornerstone of modern society. Not really. But our roads are important. And there's nothing shameful about being part of the process of creating building materials. You've looped back to a yard near the bit between. The second overseer is already there. Men and women, hard with muscle, bright with sweat, are breaking rocks with sledgehammers. They wear vests and breeches with cloth masks to keep out the worst of the dust. We equip our workers with safety gear, just in case prolonged exertion in this air might prove unpleasant. As you can see, regular exercise ensures they are strong and healthy. Many leave Brabazon with athletic inclinations and pursue fitness as a profession. A stout gentleman with a monocle sidles up to you. This whole place is just marvelous, eh? Kept busy while paying off debts, given new skills and education. Simply marvelous. I mean... the issue is the presentation. The fact of it's terrible. I mean, that they're putting debtors... well... that they're putting people in this prison and forcing them to age prematurely while doing work is a terrible thing. But trying to present it as if it was beneficial to them instead of saying, look at these horrible people, look how they suffer because of what they did wrong. Like, that would at least be honest. On the one hand, yes. On the other hand, no. On the third hand, his eyebrows rise so far, his monocle falls. There's always something better, that's easy to say. And do you have any suggestions for exactly what? He swells with hurt pride. I donate what I can, and I come to this ghastly place to ensure it's well spent. What more do you want? I should have sat behind. We have plenty of time. Come on, the overseer is gesturing at you angrily. We can't waste another moment. We have to leave. It's important we return in plenty of time. We'll have to end the tour here. The second overseer takes a head count, a poor one, for she double counts twice before giving up. Nevertheless, she signals her partner to go ahead. I hope you appreciate our little tour, and we shall pass your thanks on to the workers of Brabazon. Perhaps when they've paid off their debt, you'll see them again. Of course, this whole endeavor is thanks to your generosity.
The overseer who takes your spent carriage clock draws you aside. You're a skyfarer, aren't you? We need someone without official connections to the government to help us with a delicate matter. There are unsavory individuals on Brabazon Workworld. They inveigle others to do their work so that they might have the time to plot. They are fomenting unrest. That's spelled wrong, but that's okay. The writing in this game is very good. I've rarely seen spelling errors and that sort of thing. Given all this text, that's impressive. I believe that's a misspelling. It's fomenting, isn't it? Oh well. It won't do. It just makes the other workers unhappy. Next time, see if you can sneak away. I hear their leader is looking for outside assistance. For once, time is on their side. Okay, so it is that they have more time. They literally just have more time. So a day for us is like a week for them or something. I'm not going to reject them outright, but what are you offering in return? How are you going to make it worth my while? Thank you, I wasn't hoping for anything more definite. He smiles, but it's not a happy one. I'll be putting a case to the governor. I'll make sure you're paid for getting information helps us quell unrest. Help us keep the workers happy. Come back to me if you hear anything, I'll be around. So should we do another tour and try to get away? Like, we didn't get our port report either. Let's do another tour. We won't read it again. We'll just go straight to new options. This time we'll admire the rugs. The handiwork is competent. Their predominant colors are black and gold, the Empress's favorites. Lions are popular designs, and unicorns and crowns. Patriotic. Okay, this time we're going to sneak away from the group. The guides are focused on moving the tour along. No one notices you slipping away down an alley. Okay, so first thing first. The shanties are pressed close together. There are no more streets, only cramped alleys. Their few windows are clogged with filth. Grimy workers trudge from work to home, eating as they go. Time is precious. Minutes not spent at work are given to sleep. So we can explore the true one. Write a port report, which we're going to do. Supplement people trade supplies for tales of terror, which would not be a terrible thing. Or we join the tour, but we have time. Let's not push our time out. I'm not sure what the problem would be, but I don't want to get in trouble. Industry is booming here as always. Labor is cheap, demand is high. Discontent simmers among the workers, but the ones who prove valuable are promoted to oversight. The wheels turn. Brabazon persists. We've used up half our time. Okay. That was only one thing. Like we were at 1/4 to 1/2 in just one option. Someone has daubed graffiti on the wall of a rumbling factory. One day at a time. A message to encourage workers to keep their chins up, or a complaint about Brabazon's unfettered abuse of time. You've used up half your time. Let's go ahead and do a trade for some tale of terror. The locals have grown so used to gruel that even Murgatroyd's fungal crackers come as an exotic extravagance to them. You share what you have with as many as you can. Fuller bellies means more strength with which to agitate for better conditions. We've used up more than half. We gained 2 tales of terror. Brabazon is at peace, and I have been kind to them. Provide books to a school. Trade literature for a vision of the heavens. You know, I'm betting we need to do like a certain number of these. Then we'll become known to the people here or something. There is still time. We'll give you some literature, sure. The children fall upon anything that's new. Their old book of morally appropriate fairy tales has been read so much that its pages are now fragile as tissues. You spend an hour watching them read the new works, which mostly consist of sermons, wildly misunderstand them, and swap imaginative interpretations of what they mean. My good deeds are not going unwatched. I'm running out of time. Okay, we better leave. Let's rejoin the tour. I am rapidly running out of time. And we're going to go ahead and finish the tour. Like, I wonder what's... I kind of don't want to risk it, but we could just find out what would happen if we let time run out. I wonder if it would like take away some of our stats or something as we age. I don't know. Let's do another one. We can maybe give them a few more literature or supplies or something. I do feel that we need to do enough of these in order to progress. Sneak away. And now we've used a quarter. Let's go ahead and give them some more rations. We've used half our time. Provide fuel for warmth or secure a worker medical attention. I'll give you medical attention just for a ministry stamp. We're going through these pretty fast. I should have got some more. Oh no, it was for ministry approved. Wait a minute. So I got ministry approved literature. I didn't realize that. That's weird. Anyway, the doctor's call books, safely secured in his office in the bit between, claims he visits Brabazon twice a week, or once over the Christmas and Easter periods. But from the perspective of the work-worlders, isolated in their envelope of frantic, scurrying hours, the gap between his visits is rather long. The debtors complain bitterly about the arrangement. You arrange a precious visit to the doctor's surgery for the injured worker. Colleagues and family, desperate to show gratitude, give you whatever they can. It turns out to mostly be Bibles of the Ministry of Public Decency's newest and most improved edition. My kindness has drawn the attention of the leader. Good. Meet with the leader. I've used up more than half my time. This is a real worry. A wiry, ginger-haired man grins at you over the desk littered with documents. Some are crisscrossed with scrawled notes, others are pristine and freshly inked. The faintly bearded youth has a beatific smile. Our leader, the reverberant activist, saw your work. He said you might be able to help. Talk to the revolutionary leader. You've seen the conditions here. This is the lot of the unfortunate, not the deserving. Brabazon is at peace. Workers respect their lot in life, but they shouldn't. I want you to help us fight back and secure better conditions for everyone who's sent here. He pats the faintly bearded youth on the back. We have the will and the strength, but lack something you have in abundance: freedom. We need provisions and materials. We need someone who can smuggle them in. One of the overseers in the bit between believes in the cause. They will help you in and out. I don't have time. I just don't have time. Let's leave. Nope, we're gone. Return to the bit between and your locomotive. Interesting, I don't have to actually go back to the tour. I can just leave. Bring him caddies of tea and savage secrets, and then permits and gourd of nectar to increase unrest. And we could apparently trade verdant seeds for an uncanny specimen. Well, there's lots of interesting things you could do here. I don't know. I don't really want to be part of a workers' revolution. I mean, I don't know. Let's not deal with this now. Let's come back some other time. It's the weaker option, but that's okay. And we can't even buy more supplies here. Let's just go. Okay, I want to head west to get to the middle, because I hope that's where London is. I want to drop off some stuff. Look at this. Lots of smog. Oh, we're actually getting terror by going through it. Maybe not. Maybe that was random. They're just coming out of the background. I don't think they're real. I think it's just background. My scout found something way in the other direction. The city of London gives way to its industrial hinterland. Okay, so that means we're going towards London, since we're leaving the hinterland. Hopefully. Copper Bottom Kitchen. Here's something. It looks like maybe where we turn in port reports back at in the what's it called, in the Reach. No, I bet that's London. Okay, let's go down. Don't see a lot of green. Eddie's Promise. I guess this is supposed to be like advertisements? Signage? Yeah, shops line these streets. Wit and Vinegar Lumber Company. Can I dock at you? The Wit and Vinegar Lumber Company. And you have a bazaar, but nothing there, unfortunately. I can't even buy from you either. The Wit and Vinegar Lumber Company operates primarily in the Reach, mining bronze wood and transporting it back to London for construction, furniture, and locomotive plating. Its loading platform is frequented by brawny, wind-bitten men lugging slabs of bronze wood to the warehouse. And take your leave. Okay, so nothing to do here now. Maybe that's something in the future. Just a moment, please. Okay, forgive me, that took longer than I hoped. Let's go ahead, take our leave. So we're thinking this is London still. Let's just go right up to it. This whole area needs to be mapped. We need to discover all the different ways to go about. It seems like it's more like the passages are smaller than in the Reach. Where in the Reach it was mostly there was like, there was occasional big islands. Now there's all these little streets. Yep, we are near London. Is this it? No. There's a ship on that. There's already a locomotive on that one. Yeah, we're on the wrong side. We need to be over there. And we should have so many things to do here. Like, a ridiculous number of things. The Ministry monitors. St. Dominic's station is thick with crowds. A brass band plays. The cause of the excitement is an unfamiliar locomotive in imperial blue, a delicate, gleaming craft whose elongated nose houses an array of lenses. A top-hatted official from the Ministry of Public Decency is delivering a speech, the first of a fleet of new Monitor-class locomotives. They will be Her Majesty's watchdogs, scouring the skies for enemies of Albion. The crowd cheers, most of them. No, go ahead. Let's find out about this. The Monitor's hull is curved to deflect incoming rounds, but its plating is much lighter than that of a London dreadnought. The bridge is crammed with state-of-the-art sensory equipment. You put your eye to the main scope and it flings your sight through the Monitor's precisely aligned lenses and away to a distant stretch of the sky. The stars are bright and close. You step back, bumping into a control panel. Careful, warns a crewman. That's the gun. Just one, you ask? Oh, she only needs the one. You will now encounter Ministry monitors. And we gained a vision of the heavens by looking through the sensory equipment. The scope. I like that. That's kind of clever. I guess they just upgraded the ships that London has instead of the dreadnoughts. So we have ridiculous amounts of things. But the first of all thing, our first quest was to deliver this box. The house without windows. To find the address given in Captain Whitlock's will, you make your way through the little-used streets in one of London's lower, smoggier levels. On a secluded courtyard flanked by the backs of warehouses and factories stands a tall grey house with one door and no windows. When you knock, a blind butler answers. The butler is pleased. Ah, our resident has arrived. Please bring him in. Everything has been prepared according to Captain Whitlock's instructions. As you maneuver the black box inside, you ask what those instructions were. She has arranged for Master Jacob's convalescence with us. There's a person in here? I mean, it's been sitting in our hold for like almost a year. I understand the young gentleman has suffered from a prolonged illness which has left him unable to speak and afflicted him with a delicate disposition. The affairs of the house have been organized in such a way as to never inconvenience him. He requires no visitors. An extensive library has been provided for his edification. Privacy is paramount. With the box in place, the butler produces a key from his pocket, but waits for you to leave before using it. Thank you for your assistance, Reverend. If Amelia were still with us, she would thank you. Goodbye. You leave the house without windows behind, and gain quite a bit of experience. We gained a secret and a sky story. Okay, well, quest complete. Let's go ahead and look at all these things. So first of all, the bank. Oh wait, no. Let's go ahead and grab a tea and a couple chorister, another chorister nectar. Put that back. And we can talk to some of our officers now. We've been waiting for tea. Repentant Devil, tell me about your enemies. I have had 3 particular friends, he says. 2 of them I think are dead. As for the third, it would not be your style to look for me. But if I were to trace this matter, it would take me to Caerleon and London and the Well of the Wolf. You asked about my enemies, I know, but when you get to my age, it's the same thing. Friends. So the Repentant... okay, Caerleon, the Baroness of Hell, and the Well of the Wolf. Okay. Well, we could have done that one back in the Reach, but that's okay. And our Clayman, we need to give him some nectar so we can sing. The clay conductor fetches a spoon and several lumps of sugar. He mashes the lumps into the honey, then gargles the concoction. When he is done, you wrangle a little of his past from him. The clay conductor was in the clay choirs. His dead companion was a very talented clay chorister. I have hopes of finding someone with as good a voice again. One cannot be a chorus alone. I've heard tell of a clayman in the most serene mausoleum. The clay conductor tails off. Should be trails off. You know, that's the second spelling error I've noted in just a little bit. I wonder if it was like one specific person that wasn't responsible for these. Anyway, so he wants to go to the Most Serene Mausoleum. Before we do any of this, so ambition. This is also 5,000. And so it says raise enough capital to purchase property in London, Pan, or New Winchester. No idea what Pan is. I'm assuming it's maybe that's the center of Eleutheria. But I think London would make a better place to retire than the Reach. Anyway. Before we start trying to make us an escape, let's take a look at what we can buy. So, upkeep in the Undercroft, Bronzewood for Parliament. 5 consignments of Bronzewood. The Floating Parliament is to the east of London. Okay. Fireworks for Parliament. Carefully packed crates of munitions to the east. Apparently we're going to go to the east after this. I was hoping we'd get multiple areas and they would tell us where to go. Anything? Oh, this is new. The Speciometer assaying device. +1 assaying. Okay. Blue stuff is new. So 11 hold needs 50 veils, which we don't have. Or 7 hold, which uses a different slot, but gives me requires more iron than I have. And that also requires more iron than we have. So maybe it doesn't matter that these are higher up. It's their we can't equip them anyway. And the upgraded engine itself is not here. There's just this one. Full steam mode available. What's that mean? Like a charge? Costs a lot of money. Okay. Okay, and now we have a new engine type, which is not as expensive as the really, what was 1,500, 15,000 for next upgrade. This one, a lot more health, more crew capacity, more armor, and it shifts a small slot for a large slot. That seems like it's just a straight upgrade. Because we don't even use both slots. It'll use a bit more fuel, but that's fine. Okay, well that's our next locomotive upgrade. Let's start going through our stories. I mean, there's 2 places. This is where we can repair and stuff. Okay. Explore London! So liberated from her prison below the earth and elevated to the heavens, prickled with chimneys, mantled in sooty smog, here are the old, proud buildings, transported block by block to the sky. Here are the new edifices of soaring steel and stone and gleaming glass. The ultimate achievement of Victorian ambition unhampered by terrestrial concerns. London is a feverish brew of aspiration, empire, and appetite. There's so much going on here. Look for the Baroness of Hell, but I need a selection of immaculate souls for that. Okay. Well, we can't deal with that right now. Go with the navigator to the ambassador's house. The house is small, but is in an expensive location. It is well kept. The windows are clean, the steps freshly swept. Asphodel is flourishing in an urn by the steps. It still feels like home, the navigator gazes at the door. It feels strange to know I'm just visiting. The grieving matriarch herself opens the door. She sees the navigator and yelps. She laughs. It disintegrates into tears. The navigator enfolds the woman in a hug. The matriarch glares up at the navigator fondly. I've been so worried. The moment I knew you'd signed up. It's so dangerous out there. What if something happened to you too? She hustles the pair of you into the drawing room. My husband's at work. He'll be disappointed to have missed you. The grieving matriarch is determined you'll join her for tea. She even refuses to let the servants assist. She is rushing towards the kitchen when the navigator intervenes. We can't stay long. I mustn't impose on the captain. I promise I'll come back soon. He draws the matriarch close and lowers his voice. I came to ask, may I borrow the key? I haven't been able to pay my respects. The grieving matriarch looks mortified. I'm kind of very curious what's going on, so stand there and listen. The woman takes an iron key from the side table. Please keep it. I'm not going in again. Will the captain take you to the Empyrean? She searches the navigator's face. You look tired. Are you working too hard? I'm fine. I'm first officer. I'm doing well. You're all skin and bone. Is the captain feeding you? Occasionally. The matriarch turns angrily towards you. Please don't. The navigator's voice is barely audible. When I asked them to contact you. The matriarch rushes from the room. She returns more composed and carrying a well-read book. You should have this. She refuses to let the navigator leave till he's promised to write and to visit again soon. He's been given the key to Alton's family tomb in the Eagle's Empyrean. Okay. Well, let's talk to you real quick. Let's skip on pursuing that. Tell me about this. And I know I have to give him 2 savage secrets. Okay. The navigator joins you in his cabin. Finally, the words tumble out. I thought I was all right. I just got on with my work and I was doing well. He reaches beneath his bunk to pull out the book the matriarch gave him. Alton read this all the time. He'd act it out, do the voices. It is the epic of King Gesar. Alton knew the true me. He shared his clothes, helped me bind my chest the first time. Oh. Got me into my first fist fight. So he's a trans person, maybe. The navigator sits up proudly. He was my best friend. When we were children, I made a promise to him. The navigator stares blindly at the book. What did you promise? When we were grown up, we would go exploring together. We'd go on great quests, do mighty things. The navigator takes several breaths before continuing. We'd be heroes. People would write stories about us. I'm exploring the skies and... The navigator turns his face away. He didn't even get to go home. To leave home. He wipes his eyes on his sleeve and stands resolute. I'm not going to break my promise. I will give him adventures worthy of King Gazer. Please, Captain, I want to go to Eagle's Empyrean. I'm breaking him out of his tomb. I'll need your help. We'll need a visa to come with me. The London embassy will give you one. It's in Eleutheria. The relay is near Hybris in the Reach. Okay, so maybe that's okay. So we were in the Reach, and we got all these quests saying go London, and then we started to get a few quests saying go Blue Kingdom, and now in London, in Albion, we're getting quests telling us to go to Eleutheria, which is back through the Reach. I didn't even find it. It's near Hybris. Must be in the very top of the map. Okay. Let's continue exploring. We can hunt for the shop that had the perfect wine. You find the establishment between the roofs of 2 collapsed houses. Under their steepled walls, it bulges like a tumor. You enter the floorboards, sigh in warning beneath your feet. The tiling ripples underfoot like the back of an animal. Inside, there are aisles as thin as capillaries, and shelves cauled in thick black fabric. There's no one here. A dusty bronze bell rests atop the equally dusty counter. The sound is sharp and silver in the murk. For a time there is nothing, no indication of life in the store until... What are you? Why have you come? If you are a customer, I have nothing right now, nothing I want to sell, comes a voice from the clutter. A body soon follows the voice, peeling from the gloom. It elongates, stretching upwards, spreading into a flare of burgundy fabric. Under its hood, an unmistakably chiropteran visage. Its eyes dark and curious. It's one of the masters of the bazaar. Though pronounced adversaries of the Empire, one of them still stands before you. Imperious, impossible, and maybe slightly afraid? Tell me about the Hesperidian cider. Gone. What he wants is gone. No, not gone, but almost gone. Little more than a sweet swallow, and that isn't enough to do anything. Movement in the chthonic murk, filled with carnivore purpose. You smell animal musk and horror frost on rose petals, and fruit, both astringent and sweet. Gone, but I could make more. I was Mr. Apples once, as I was once other things, other names, other people. You smell of oil and metal in the stars. You could take me where I need to go. You can almost touch it. Do this for me, and I will trade you something very rare, very fine indeed. A pause. My company. Recruit the Chiropterous Hoarder. Okay. For one reason or another, you do not say no. Welcome aboard! You're wiser than most of your kind. I'm so glad you did not say no. It would have made me unhappy, and that would have made you worse. It feeds oil to one of the dying lamps pendulating up overhead. So close its breath rakes over your skin. Revealed, the Chiropterous Hoarder is massive, stooped, bat-like where its bones do not strain to imitate humanity. But you did not. So we are now... It searches for the words. Friends. And not hungry things circling in the dark, watching to see who will lay down their guard first. Okay. New officer? Hey, he's a quartermaster too. Nice. Veils and mirrors. The Chiropterous Hoarder. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. Is that supposed to be like bat-like? I mean, he's kind of bat-like. Colonizes your pantry, half the cargo bay, and one of the cupboards in the galley. It fills these spaces with velvet-wrapped boxes of varying sizes, opaque mason jars which sometimes ring with tapping from within. Glass display is populated by half-dead and unblinking things. Periodically, the Chiropterous Hoarder can be found in the cabin it has been assigned, hunched over a new item, a new acquisition. What are you bringing with us? The Chiropterous Hoarder glowers, its expression glacial. When it becomes clear it cannot intimidate you into leaving, your quartermaster sighs and relents. A jellyfish, still alive, it whispers. Its voice sawed down to a growl. As it speaks, the Hoarder trails a claw along each item, a dream of freedom piped into glass. Verdant spores that will never die. Everything immortal or that aspires to be immortal. I am making an inventory of them. Interesting. This is a Veils. I'm thinking that this would require a Savage Secret, and it would be a Veils thing. I'm gonna get you some Chorister Nectar, because I don't want you to eat me. Your present is received with poor grace and rich suspicion. Joy is lost when something is given away. Your species is ridiculous. Despite its truculence, there is a tenderness in the way the Chiropterous Hoarder cradles your gift. Talk about its interest. I have a dream, it confides, picking at the hem of its claret cloak. An ear, long and velveteen, droops from its cowl. An old dream, an excellent dream. I would make my collection perfect. To do this, there is a corpse I must visit. Your kind named it Faith's Fall. Appropriate, I think. If I could travel there, if I had help in Bronzewood, I could build the thing I need. For a moment, its eyes are the universe, garbed and glorious with stars. But you couldn't spare the crew, or the timber, or the time. Not for me, no, not for me. 6 pieces and a Bronzewood and 5 crew to Faith's Fall in the Reach. I don't know what Faith's Fall is. I don't think we explored the Reach pretty hard, but we didn't find anything. Faith's Fall. I don't know where that is. We need to explore it at some point. Do you know Mr. Menagerie? Silence, the kind not unlike a man trying to recall a favorite meal, overtakes the Chiropterous Hoarder for an interval. At last, it brightens. It sells delicious things! That's terrifying. Are there any other masters of Old London? Her Majesty came to regret her arrangement with us. She reneged and fled the fifth city for the sky. Most of my colleagues remained behind, fat and sleek, content, at the heart of the new sixth city. But a few of us had languished long enough in the dark. We saw the chance to return home to the heavens. So in secret a few of us followed you to the sky. Most did so quietly. One made too much noise, and Her Majesty overheard. It has a job now. Tragic. I have no idea what they're talking about. The fifth city, the sixth city, it's lore I don't know about. Okay. So it needs to go back to the Reach and find some place. Okay. The Silken Salon. The generous princess manages many affairs of court. She cultivates alliances, forms opinions, sets trends, makes introductions, suggests promotions, and dismantles reputations. She attracts rumors like a lantern attracts moths. It's said she fears the light of the suns. Her gifts inevitably destroy the recipients. She can sometimes be found in her salon where she welcomes visiting captains. So we can trade gossip for stuff. Or permits. Or we can give her a cryptic benefactor. Or a royal dispensation. So it doesn't seem like it's actually anything I need here. It's just this is a way for me to transform stuff into experience and money. I'd rather transform it into Port Avon goodwill. Let's keep exploring London. So what did she want to do? What was she going to give us? I don't think I want to give her away. I'm using her as our main thing. Here. So this is a 30% chance. Failure. There was no sign of the fragment in London. We still need that soul. Anything else to do in London? The light of the clockwork sun is fierce. It sears away the smog and lights up the glass and smoky stone of London's building in a brief moment of splendid radiance. Okay. Not as much to do here as I thought. Help the amiable vagabond plot and escape. The vagabond has managed to procure blueprints of the jail where Ratbite is being held. He is excitedly planning a pointlessly intricate scheme to get her out. It involves disguises, distractions, the extremely irresponsible misuse of hours, and 2 separate explosions. So we can pull off a complex, ambitious heights. Which needs a cage catch, which we have, some hours, but our veils is terrible. I mean, I don't have very many cryptic benefactors. And it doesn't say this will improve our friendship. Let's come back when our veils is higher. And I guess we're done. Let's go east and try to find Parliament. Wait a minute, wasn't there another one of these? Yeah, the Steam and Sapphire Yards. Yeah, Macquarie's tobacco shop. The sign over the door once read, Macquarie and Son Fine Tobacco. But since then, someone has crossed out the word fine in a fit of honesty. Then, on a separate, more ominous occasion, they have crossed out and Son. The building is embarked on a rapid descent into squalor. The paint peels. The windows are caked with grime. Inspect the wares. The selection is unimpressive, as is the quality. Neither Albion nor the Reach has found a genuinely good replacement for tobacco, though increasingly frantic smokers have tried lighting up virtually every example of Skyflora that has been discovered. A few Skyfarers mill about, examining the lower-grade flavors and speculating on exactly what Macquarie is cutting them with today. The more expensive brands are untouched in their glass cases. You'd wonder how this place managed to stay open if it weren't for the fact it was so obviously on the brink of closure. And that's it. There's just nothing here. Investigate rumors of an underground railway. You've heard of a less-than-legal organization operating out of Steam and Sapphire Yards. They pay for information and may offer work to the bold, the clever, and those willing to displease Her Majesty. So, 2 savage secrets? Sure. With a little sniffing around, 2 pieces of information became relevant. The name of a stalwart bookkeeper and the number of the engine shed where he keeps his office. The man is, you are certain, an agent of the group you seek. You've heard about the New Street line. Oh, this guy collects port reports. Interesting. And then we can get Savage Secrets, Unlicensed Clerk, Bookkeeper's Trust. Oh. Or an Imitation of Perderance. He occupies a tiny smoky office cobbled together from corrugated iron sheets in the back of one of the engine sheds. It's stacked with nicotine-stained account books and boxes full of oily brackets. The bookkeeper looks up as you enter and gestures to a chair. We'll give you our port reports. And now we gained 1 New Street Line's gratitude. Okay. Well, let's leave. Eventually we'll bring port reports back here and be able to progress this, perhaps. Alright. So, I mean, we did just find this, and that does seem like it's east. Is it to the south of this? Down here somewhere? Or is it up here? Parliament. Let's go around like this. What do our stats look like now that we have the other guy? So 8, 8, 9, 10 for our upgrades. That seems nicely balanced. We should probably go back to Carolyn at some point and do some of those challenges. Like, even if they're 50-50s by now, we'd be able to trade terror to win them. Haven't seen any other ships or anything yet. I wonder if this is a friendly place. Something way out here. Probably it's more like New Winchester, where right in the center there's like only friendly people, but out further away there's marauders and bees and those scribe spinsters. Something way up there. What is this? It's like a storm. Can I investigate? The storm that speaks! Like, is it like the well where I can talk to it? Doesn't seem to be. Okay. Never mind. Just get a bunch of terror for no reason. Oh. What are you? You're hostile. An Albion Marauder. Okay, so yeah, it's just... Okay, they're tanky. Twice as many hits as the Reach ones. Maybe we need to upgrade our weaponry. But the same sort of results. Let's see if this just gives me more gossip. No, they gave me hours. Interesting. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. We accepted all these things looking for Parliament, but we didn't actually load them onto our ship. I'm an idiot. Okay, never mind. We're not even gonna go to Parliament. We're gonna explore somewhere else. Oh, now I feel like an idiot. Never mind. This is an exploratory thing. We're not doing trading right now. We're just trying to get the lay of the land. So far, I have to admit, I like the music better in the Reach. Needs assaying, which I don't have. I mean, that looks important. Does it not have a name? I guess not. Okay, maybe it's just a common asset that we're gonna see all over the place. Found nothing. How can we find nothing when it's a whole new area? Okay, we should go to this thing, whatever that is. I like the other little ships. They're below us, though. They're not small. They're just not on our plane. That one's on our plane. The Ministries. A number of instruments of government are located here. The Horological Office, which regulates time. The Office of Works, which ensures jobs no one else can be bothered with are done. And the Ministry of Public Decency, which curates the notion of Britishness, with the same care a lepidopterist uses to pin a butterfly to a board. Anything different here? No, that's the same one. No, it's the... I don't remember this. Her Majesty's renewed Majesty's Jubilee. But I don't have a slot for it, and it needs fails. But, worth keeping in mind. Upgraded weapon. 60 heat, though, for only 20 damage. Or 40 damage, maybe. What are we using? So we have this one, which is 25 for 50. For 15. So this is, what, 3 damage for 5 heat? And this would be... Not that. This. This would be 4 damage for 6 heat. 2 for 3. So better. If it hits. Worth keeping... Okay. But that's not what we're here for. Any other different ships? Nah, same one. Okay, let's do the stories. The Ministry of Public Decency. A huge horseshoe-shaped building of white stone, white columns, and clocks, and iron gates. Inside, its walls are paneled with dark wood. Crimson carpets, worn by frequent passage, flood the floors. Within its cubbyhole offices, auditors toil to protect the sensibilities of Londoners here in the heathen sky. So there's lots going on here. Make a deal to reduce notoriety. Interesting. There's its own little favor. We can get cryptic benefactors. Lots of things give me these invitations to perjurance. I've never been able to get a royal dispensation until now. But that's 16 gratitude. To reduce unwanted attention. Huh. Request an appointment. Albion port reports. I don't have any port reports. I see. So this is another area I can turn in port reports and then trade them for things. You cross the foyer and approach the secretary ensconced at a teak desk. She listens to your request with a thoughtful frown. I'd love to arrange an appointment for you with one of our auditors, obviously, but my hands are tied. Bureaucracy, you understand. She rolls her eyes, looks around conspiratorially, then lowers her voice. Best thing for someone like you is to gather reports on nearby ports. Yeah. Okay, no, never mind. The Office of Works. The Office of Works is a bustling bureaucratic enigma. Behind its red-bricked flanks toil numberless clerks and surveyors. What mysteries lurk within its memoranda, its chits, and its receipts? What exactly are its eponymous works? No one is sure. But in a draughty loading bay, an unflappable foreman purchases supplies to complete outstanding work orders. Provide the foreman's requirements to earn payment. Offer my services. The Office of Works, God bless her, has a very particular requirements. Very particular. Let's have a look. 1 caged catch and 1 tale of terror. We can do that. We don't have it with us. If you dislike the current work order, this will request a different one. You can only make a request every 15 days. Interesting. So if I have these, I can then get what? Like, what does this do? Is it giving me money? I don't know. Okay, well, we'll have to do one once and see what the deal is. Tick, tick, tick. Albion's heartbeat. Clocks of diverse size and shape line the walls of this small gray office. Each is meticulously tuned by the royal horologists and inspectors as practice for the thankless complex task of ensuring the consistency of time across Her Renewed Majesty's territories. Speak to the chief horologist. Times change, I have heard. Well, not if I have any say in it. He reaches for a pair of tweezers, the pincers barely thicker than a human hair. The time in London must be the time in Brabazon, in Whirly-Burly, in New Winchester, in Lustrum, to the second. It is the privilege and duty of this office to ensure that continuity. A task that was considerably easier before we began spending hours like shillings and sixpences. Now it might be yesterday in one place and next week in another. It's most untidy. Look at the clock. Only the finest engineers were permitted to work on it. Every component is encased in polished glass. The hands, sharp enough to slice paper, slide between the exquisitely carved numerals with buttered smoothness. I like clocks. Like, mechanical clocks are kind of annoying, but the idea of them, the sound of them is annoying, but the idea of them is very fine. It's almost like, it's the same sort of thing where you look at like weapons, like guns, and you say the mechanics of them are just amazing, even if you wouldn't, necessarily approve of their practice. Only the second hand is permitted to jump from moment to moment, and it does so with the precision of a military march. It's just for tourists, of course. Albion's time really is based on old TikTok man's pocket watch. He keeps us straight. Except that time on his 90th birthday when he had one too many and the whole of Albion lost 2 hours. That's a funny idea. Despite the vast distances involved and the complicating effects of local hour usage, all the clocks show the same time. Each of London's territories is expected to run on Albion Standard Time, but London is a long way from them. Despite being a commandment from the Empress's own lips, it is a law, more often breached than observed. I mean, there's no sun. There's no sunrise anymore. There's just the mechanical sun. And so I guess I kind of understand why this is an issue. There's no, steady progression of days. There's no need for, time zones, because there's no sun. Ask about hours. The chief horologist does not bother to hide the weariness in his voice. No. Despite the imaginative claims of certain penny dreadfuls, hours can't take you back to yesterday, nor leapfrog tomorrow. But with the use of hour looms, a week's journey can be made to take a day, or a prisoner can endure 10 years of a sentence, while only 1 year passes outside his cell. A work world can perform a month's labor in a week. A lifespan can be stretched. The Empire, Reverend, runs on hours. Well, I want to become a royal horologist. The chief horologist looks surprised at your inquiry. Horologists tend to be cut from a specific cloth, a rather grayer fabric than that worn by a skyfarer. However, you have the right to take the examination if you wish. He blows the dust off a textbook and bids you sit down. No calculation devices or writing implements are permitted. The chief horologist peers over the book. If the current time in Perdurance is exactly 1715, and the time in Albion is 1834, what, pray tell, is the current time in Lustrum? I mean, if the time in Albion is 1834, then that should be the time in Perdurance also, right? It's the same time everywhere. That's the whole idea of it. That is your answer? Very well, we shall continue. And now a tricky one, perhaps. The train from the Brabazon work world arrives at 11:30 in London. The current time shown on the master Brabazon clock is, he winces, 14:30. If the train took exactly 1 hour to make the journey, it does not, of course, but I merely offer this as a hypothetical for the sake of testing, what was the accurate time of its original departure from the work world? Wait a minute, so it arrives at 11:30 in London. And it thinks it took 14:30. It's 14:30. It took 1 hour. The time in London is the time that matters, so it must have left at 10:30, right? It doesn't matter what the time in Brabazon is. Interesting, very interesting. He pauses for a moment before writing your answer down. You wait patiently for several minutes, but the third question doesn't seem to be coming. The chief horologist's eyes have drifted closed. A thin string of drool dribbles from his otherwise dry lips as he snores. Nudge him gently. The fellow must be pushing 100. Oh, excuse me. He glances at your answers. Well, you seem to have the idea. No point going through the other 248 questions. Congratulations, you're now officially a royal horologist. Apprentice 3rd class. Speaking of which, I have an assignment for you. Temporal inconsistency, a suitable test of your practical skills. Take this pocket watch. It is both your badge of office and your compass, pointing to the correct time. Wear it proudly, keep it well wound, do not get it wet. The smaller gears are quick to rust. You have an assignment in New Winchester. Well, okay, next time we go back to New Winchester, we'll have something to do there. Let's go back to London. We're so close. Ooh, we got a ship. It's a dreadnought, though. We're not gonna take one of those on so close to London.
I do think I need to upgrade my weaponry, though. Even if we have good heat, damage per heat, the encounters just take so long that we have to spend so much time dodging around because enemies are getting tankier. Alright. You know, I think I'm going to take a break here. We're at an hour and a half. Our first introduction to Albion, and we're going to have to start exploring the rest of this place next time. Hopefully we can find that port parliament somewhere out here. I'm betting it's actually like right behind it. Like it might be right here or something. But maybe we'll go down this way and try to go up. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, thank you everyone for watching. Till next time.